Hi there, my name's John Simmers. I'm a professional violin and bow maker. In today's episode about the bench, we're going to be finishing off the soundpost patch that we started in the last episode when we poured the plaster cast. Plaster cast's all dry now, so it's ready to work on. Going to put the front into the plaster cast, create the bed for the patch, roughly fit the patch, put some cleats to position the patch, final fit it, then pair it back and blend it into the inside of the top. Very carefully starting to excavate the bed for the patch. Certainly less room to move on a 3/4 size. I've taken the front out of the plaster cast now and I'm getting pretty close. I really want to double check to see where I am. I'm down to just below 1 millimeter. So that'll give me a little bit of room for scraping. I'm aiming to be at about 0.75. That way, if someone ever needs to redo this patch, there's a little bit of room to work. I will now just use a scraper to tidy it up and to just take it right out to that pencil line, because that will be the final shape of the patch. And just out of interest, I can show you how thin this is by shining a light behind. It gets quite transparent when you shine the light through, and shining the light through also gives me an idea about how even my patch bed is. So it's getting pretty close. Giving the top a final clean just to make sure there's nothing trapped between the varnish and the plaster cast, because that would be transferred into the varnish. We don't want that. Taking this right to my pencil line. And we want a nice sharp line. So when the patch is fitted and trimmed back, we get a nice clear definition between the two. There's our patch bed all hollowed out, ready to start fitting the patch. Putting my straight edge on there gives you a bit of an idea of how deep it looks. With my little flat thumb plane, I'm just starting to rough out the patch. The fine fitting will be done with chalk. There'll be cleats around the patch to hold it in exactly the right spot every time, but to start with, just a matter of getting it to start going down into the bed. It's now sometime later and I am starting to get this patch fitted into the patch bed. I'm using a bit of chalk. It's kind of touching all over now, so I'm going to put it in here and fit some cleats to hold it in place while I do the final fit. I've now finished fitting the soundpost patch, the little piece of spruce, into here. It's been positioned with 4 cleats. Not sure if you can see that. I'll give you a bit of a better look soon. The patch has been chalk fitted. I don't know if you'll be able to see that, but there's chalk all over there now. I was taught about an 80% fit is good. That's way better than 80%. Ready to put in. So I'm going to heat up some glue. That's the patch now fitted, sitting in the cleats where it's going to end up. I've just mixed up a nice fresh batch of hide glue, hot hide glue. So that's all ready to go. The patch is ready to go. All the chalk's been cleaned off. I've got a little backing plate to go on top just to spread the load of the clamp. This is where the plaster cast really comes into its own. It's kind of foolproof. It's clamped in there, can't go anywhere. I've got cleats to line up the soundpost patch itself. It's been chalk fitted, everything fits. It's really just a matter of putting the glue in, putting a clamp on and coming back tomorrow. Should be perfect. Okay, let's glue. Plenty of glue is always a good idea. There is a bit of end grain in here, so that won't go astray. I'm going to leave those cleats on there until tomorrow when it's completely dried. Okay, patch goes in like so. This goes on top. It sits in between the cleats. Nice big clamp. Shouldn't have to do it up too tightly. And then we'll just wash off a bit of the excess glue. Certainly easier to do that now than once it's dry. That looks really good. Very much looking forward to taking the clamps off tomorrow and cutting that patch back to see how well we did. I'm expecting it to be pretty good. Okay, there we are, happy days. Welcome back to the workbench. Next day, and it's time to take the clamps off. Now it's time to start paring away the excess wood. Well, there we are. The soundpost patch is all finished. That's the end result. The fit is perfect. Bit of a halo at the top and bottom. That's just glue in the end grain, but the result is excellent. Back to the original thickness in the middle. That's perfect. And there's a bit of filler varnish in the crack just to replace some of the damaged varnish around the soundpost crack when it was cracked. So the next thing is to put the top back on the instrument, and I'll be doing that today, and then once the glue's dry tomorrow, we can start setting it up. Thanks for watching. Hopefully that was insightful for you. If anyone ever suggests that your instrument has a soundpost patch or requires one, hopefully that'll give you a bit of an insight into what that involves. It's kind of scary to do, but if it's done well, it doesn't really harm the instrument or decrease its value. In the next episode, I'm planning to do a bit of a deep dive into bow rehairing. It's something that most string players will end up having to have done to their bow at some stage, if not many, many times. My plan is to give you a bit of an in-depth look into what goes into a bow rehair, pull the frog apart, show you how that all goes together. Then I plan to give you a list of things that you can look out for when you've had your bow rehaired, so you can make sure that the person who rehaired it has done the job properly. You can't see what they've done on the inside, but there are things that you can look at to give you a sign as to how well it was done. Thanks for watching At the Bench. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Feel free to share it with anyone you think might be interested in this information, and we'll see you here next time.